What's up, guys? Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is In the Market. We are here to play some Transport Fever 2, and I was thinking of doing just a Let's Play series with Transport Fever. I got into the game, maybe a month or two ago. I didn't play Transport Fever 1, and this game is just so much fun, and I think it would make for a great Let's Play series. I haven't seen a ton of Transport Fever 2 content on YouTube. I know there are a couple great YouTubers that have put out some awesome content, and, definitely check them out. I actually got into the game by watching a YouTuber named Squirrel, his videos, so they're awesome. You should check them out. But I just really wanted to do this Let's Play. I think it would be a lot of fun. I would like to get into YouTubing more, and without further ado, let's play some Transport Fever. So I'll show you the map that we've gone with, and the map descriptions will be in the comments. But we've got a couple major bodies of water coming through this map. I think that really makes it interesting. I went with a lower hill value. If we go into the topographic view, you can see not too many hills. I think they make it interesting. And they're a lot of fun if you want like a challenging, let's just go ahead and pause. If you want like a really challenging map to, move goods around, because hills can really make it tough. But we're playing on hard mode. I don't really have a goal for this Let's Play. I mean, I'd love to connect all these cities. We'll see, if we can get there. But more than that, I just kind of want to have some fun. So I'm going to start looking around the map. Generally, I like to start with things like construction materials or food. Because if you go into like construction materials, for instance, construction materials is an end item that can be delivered right to a town, like here, Tola. We'll take construction materials. So construction materials is an end item that only takes one input, which in this case is stone. Now there's no stone around here, but it would be awesome if that was a stone. But taking 1-to-1 is great. Like something like steel. Steel is going to be a really tough thing to start with because it takes multiple inputs, and steel isn't an end item. Steel then goes on. Let's see if we can find it. So like here, steel then goes on to be used as another input to make machines. So steel is really tough, especially at the beginning of the game when you're trying to get a couple lines up and running really fast to start making you some money. Which is why construction materials and food are really good things to start with. So like, we've got food here, they need food. There's a food processing plant right here, so that could be a good option. It's a little far. But let's just keep looking around and kind of see, again, food demand right here, food processing, farm right here. That's great. And then we could even expand over here to Yeovil to get that demand for that processing plant up, which would be great. We got a second farm right here. Goods and fuel, construction materials. There's a construction materials place right here. Oh, see, this is perfect. We are going to start with this. Because, so look what we got here. We've got Market Bosworth that demands construction materials and food. Let's not worry about the food for now. Yeah, because I don't see a food nearby. But we've got a construction materials plant right here to the, I don't know, the north, I guess. And then just to the south, we have a stone quarry. So we can get trucks that pick up stone, move it through Market Bosworth to the construction material plant, pick up construction material. On their way back to the stone, they'll drop the construction material in Market Bosworth and then continue on to the stone. So the only time that they're moving empty will be this portion of the road. This is a really good, really strong starting spot. What else do we got? Construction materials and goods, fuel. Fuel and goods. Construction material and food. Surrounded by oil. That's great. Construction material and goods. Fuel and... what is this? Tools? Yeah, tools. Food and machine tools. This is a fairly tough. I mean, this is a good group right here, but we're definitely going to start right here, right at Market Bosworth, which means the way I like to play, wherever I start is where my company headquarters goes. So, Market Bosworth, you are the capital. Congratulations. So if we come down here, we're going to build... Now this only needs one pickup site. And there are a lot of people who like to play, you know, they'll stick this, they'll kind of gauge that catchment area, and they'll stick it as far out as they can to make the journey shorter. There's nothing wrong with that. That's completely valid, but I like to play to make it look nice, and I figure that, you know, if this were reality, you would get a pickup site that would be directly adjacent to the, you know, to the quarry in this case. And again, to each their own, there's tons of different ways to play. I just think that this looks better than having the pickup over here and just... Because, like, in reality, how would they then get the stone, you know, whatever this is, a quarter of a mile down the way? So, I'm just going to put this here. You saw me make this bigger. I generally go with six cargo spots deep. I think that makes a really good starting lot size. So if we go over here, we're going to build the same one. And again, like, you could put it right here. That's totally fine. This is the way that the facility's oriented. So I'm just going to do what the facility wants me to do. And I get it. People are probably like, you're crazy. This is not necessary. But, and you know, I would probably agree with you. You're right. But it's just the way that I like to play. So that's how I'm going to play. So if we go in here, we need to get a road set up. And we can come back and smooth that out later. But another reason that this actually works, in my opinion, is I could put this on this main road. But this main road connects Market Bosworth with Hornsey, right down here. So at some point, we are going to upgrade this to be a major artery between the two cities. And I wouldn't want an industrial, you know, loading platform on that main road. It would actually be nicer later in the game. And, you know, I'm just justifying the decision that I'm making. But, you know, it is what it is. All right. So if we imagine trucks are going to pick up stone, they're going to come through the city to the processing. And then as they come back through, we're going to want them to drop somewhere in this vicinity. I imagine that the con mat, the construction material, is going to expand out in this area. So as they come back through, I actually might have them go straight and drop off on this side road. Maybe like right in here. Maybe like right in here. See, this reaches. This reaches. See, this doesn't reach this house if I go up here. So I'm going to go right here. And then we're going to set up a line. We're going to go from our stone down to our con mat. And then we're going to drop right here. And envisioning that this is going to be, this main road right here is going to be a main road. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with what it's doing right here. But I don't want it to have to make all of these turns. I would rather it just come straight and come up here just so it's a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to add a waypoint right here. And after See? And if we change the color, just so that it's a little bit easier to see. It's just a little bit cleaner. Again, if you wanted it to come through here, you know, if you wanted it to look like this, that's totally fine. I think this looks a little bit cleaner. I like it. So it is what it is. So, at Market Bosworth North, and I guess this is North, even though I called that North before. All right, so at Market Bosworth North, I'm going to want them to load if full, and I want them to wait forever. I don't want them to leave this stone quarry to head down to the Conmat facility without a full load. That's just me. So now for naming the line, and I got to give credit where credit is due. I was playing this game and I was just naming my lines, you know, like Market Bosworth, trucks, stone, and bricks, whatever. I got this naming format from Squirrel, the way that he does it, and I think it just works perfectly. So bracket T, capital T for truck. And then we're going to do, this is Market Bosworth. I'm just going to say Market, just to keep it short. And we're taking stone and construction materials, Conmat. Boom. So now, if we look at our line, stone, up to the Conmat, back to drop it off, we need a depot. Now, you might put the depot down here so that they spawn directly on, but I'm going to probably be reusing this depot. And if we put it in this industrial area where this, you know, this Conmat is located, I don't think they're going to mind. So I'm just going to squeeze it in right here. And I get it. There's two houses right there. I don't know why they put houses there. They're crazy. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go to cargo. And I'm going to start off with 6. Is that our color? I'm going to start off with 6. And then when they get to the stone, I'm probably going to double it up to 12. And then, honestly, when those 6 get to the stone and these 6 are already on their way back, I'll probably double it again. So, the other one that I want to start, because I like to start with 2. I think I'm going to start this farm. I'm going to start feeding Wadhurst, I think. I think it would also probably be good to get a passenger route started between Market Bosworth and Hornsey. They're pretty close together. So I think that would be pretty easy for stagecoaches to run. Just trying to see if there are any other that are really close together. No. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna start a passenger run from Market Bosworth to Hornsey. So let's see. They're gonna be coming back, and if I have them turn up this way and come around, pick up maybe there. It's got pretty good coverage. And then they're gonna come in, and there really isn't an awesome place, so I'm probably just gonna do there, and they'll turn around in the street, which is fine. I mean, I could build a road if I really wanted to. I could do that, and then I could have them come back this way. It's out of the way. It's unnecessary, but so they're gonna come up here, and you see they're gonna turn around the middle of the street. I don't like it. Go around. Obey the laws of traffic. And what are they going to do here? Yep, they're going to turn around the street. So I want them to come up this way. Why aren't you going around? Oh, it's because I put that on the wrong side of the road. No, I put this one on the wrong side of the road. Again, this is just not necessary. But I'm going to do it because I like it. And let's make this a nice blue to contrast with that red. And this is going to be B for bus, even though it's going to be a stagecoach for now. It'll be a bus in the future. B for bus, market for Market Bosworth to Hornsey, bus. And I get it. It's a stagecoach. For passengers, I generally don't change any of the pickup criteria. I just kind of let them run, you know, however fast they want to run is what they'll do. So now if we go to passenger, you can see we started in 1910. So we've already got these buses. So I was actually saying it was going to be a stagecoach, but it's actually not. We'll do 3 to start. I think it was that blue. And we'll go ahead and throw them on that bus route. Okay. So now, and you see that I'm doing this paused. We're playing on hard mode. So once we get this set up, I'm going to pay down this loan as fast as I can. So I don't want time just ticking away, eating away at that loan, because if you see, we're paying interest on this loan. So I'm going to spend the money that I need to spend and then pay off the rest so that we're not just sitting here burning cash. As I say, I don't want to burn cash. I'm just going to do something that's completely unnecessary. I'm going to extend this out a little bit further and then reconnect just so that it's straight, and it for some reason. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I wanted to put this in here without having to interfere with this farm area. I think the farm looks nice, and I don't know, I mean, you could, because the thing is, all of this, you can delete all of these fields. It doesn't affect the production of the farm. I just think it looks nice, so I try and disturb the farms as little as possible. For a truck stop, I won't disturb the farm unless I can't get it close enough to the catchment area. But the only time I'll really disturb a farm is if I'm putting in like rail, because, you know, I think that would probably make sense. So we're going to go with a nice one-way setup through, so they'll enter, drop off, and then leave. So we've got that set up, and now we need to come down here, and we've got a nice area for a truck stop. And we're going to need 2 stops here to get this going. So we're going to come in, we're going to set this up. And the reason we need 2 stops is we're going to have one set of trucks going back and forth, right? Shuttling grain. And then we're going to have a second set of trucks taking food into Wadhurst. Now, I could build a bridge across here. That way, for the trucks on their way back, like, they can stop in Wadhurst. So if we go back over to combat, this is 1-to-1. So 1 stone becomes 1 set of construction materials. Food, on the other hand, is a 2-to-1. So 2 grain become 1 food. So we're going to have and this is also a lot further. So we're going to have way more trucks running this route than we're going to need to deliver into Wadhurst. So 6-to-1, half dozen of the other. You could have the trucks just pick up a fraction of their cargo and route through Wadhurst and then go back to get the food. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would rather do it this way. Just have 2 sets of trucks. So, to each their own. There's really no wrong way to play. Well, I mean, I guess there is. You could go bankrupt and lose, but you know, we're not gonna try and do that. So they're gonna come into the city. I'll probably have them go straight down this road and then drop there. And I'll probably need a waypoint here, I think. Let's see, let's set up this line. So here we're gonna go from station 2. We're gonna pick up full load. And then we're gonna come in here and drop here and change this to a yellow. It's a gross yellow. It's a really bright yellow. Yeah, so they'll come in here. They'll drop. I don't want this yellow. Maybe an orange. They'll go past this waypoint. They'll drop on York Road, and then they'll go back out and go pick up more. So that's what we want. So what town is this? This is Wadhurst. So we'll have a truck, and this will be Wadhurst food. And then for those of you who are just wondering, I just hit this little icon. So it only shows you what's in your field of view. So you see when I come over here, I see these. If I come back over here, the Wadhurst food disappears, and now I can only see these. It's really helpful for when you get later in the game and you've just got a million lines all over the map. So again, at Yeovil East, we're going to fill up full load. I don't care how long it takes. We'll make this maybe that color. I don't know what color is that. And this is, so you can see we've left the Wadhurst region. And I assume, is there a city? Oh yeah, Yeovil, right here. So this is now Yeovil Farms and Wadhurst. We're serving Wadhurst. So, I deleted the line. So this is gonna be from here to here, full load. And this is going to be a truck again, and it's going to be Yeovil to Wadhurst grain. And we picked this color here. And in this instance, I don't know if I want to tuck my, I'll probably put it, what is this? Is this kind of industrial? Yeah. So I'm going to put my depot I might put it up right up here. Put it right there. All right, so we're gonna need, what are we gonna need? I said that we're gonna need twice as many trucks on the grain run as we will on the food run. Probably more than twice as many because it's much further. So I'm gonna put those, I'm gonna put these 6 on there. And then I'm probably just gonna start with 3 just to get this line so basically what's gonna happen is this grain producer, right, is going to see the demand produced by Wadhurst Food. And Wadhurst Food is going to see the demand because the trucks that I just put on this line, if we go on the Wadhurst Food, there are trucks waiting to deliver food into Wadhurst. I don't know for a fact if this is how it works in the game, but if you didn't put trucks on every portion of the leg, I don't know if the demand would kick in for the grain to go to the food and the food to go to Wadhurst. Like, if we didn't put any trucks on the food processing plant into the city, I'm not sure if the grain would start sending the grain over. But, I don't know, I guess we could do an experiment. Alright, so now we've got a bunch of lines set up. We've got the PAX line, passenger line between the two, Market Bosworth and Hornsey. We've got the Conmat line for Market Bosworth. It's going to be great. It's going to get paid both ways. And then we've got this Wadhurst food run, which I like. I think that's a good starting point. So we're going to go into fast mode. I'm going to turn this down. I like to turn it to quarter speed until we kind of get up and running, and then I go to half speed for the rest of the game. So I haven't paid down my loan yet, and the reason is that we're going to get another set of trucks on here. Once these trucks get up here to this stone facility, I'm going to put another 6 of them on the line. I'm just going to double this full amount, which you can use with this little clone selected vehicles button right here. So once these trucks get in here, we're going to clone them. And then I'll probably clone the PAX vehicles once they get to Hornsey as well. So that's close enough for now. So I'll clone those. They'll go out. The Hornsey vehicles still have a little ways to go. These vehicles could probably get cloned once they get up there. Just trying to get... So we'll hold that there. I'll probably clone them, because this is not exactly in the center, so, you know, it'll work. So our passenger vehicles are coming up here. Let's see, did we ever? Yeah, we do. Let's just see. So we've got 8 people waiting there. That's not bad. How many people we got here? 29 waiting here. So I'll probably clone these. I've found that with passenger lines, the thing that you want to look at is frequency. So right now we've got 3 minutes of frequency. That's not terrible for the beginning of the game. I just realized these guys aren't doing what I really wanted them to do. I guess that's okay. You know what? If that's what they want to do, I'm going to move the waypoint to there. And I'm going to edit this. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm going to add this one. And then we'll come back and we'll get rid of that. Alright, so we've added a bunch of vehicles. I'll probably clone these ones again. Where are these ones? So I'll add 6 more. Right, yeah, 6 more. And then these ones, I'll probably add another 6 more on there as well. And now let's pay off 6 million to get rid of that. Just because, again, this interest. So, like, look, in our last pay period, we paid $91,000 in interest payment. 91,000. That's a lot. So we can see what's already starting to make us some money. The Market Bosworth stone construction materials line is starting to make us money. Because you can see they're starting to get paid for dropping off the stone, and then they're picking up construction materials. So you can see this guy's got 5. This guy got 5. He'll probably get less than 5. Yeah, he might get 3, 4. Just want to make sure these guys aren't waiting here. Yeah, they're not. So they're just loading. They're just slow. And I think we've got a pretty good spread of vehicles on this construction material line and on the passenger line. Got 2 passengers waiting here. And if you go into your line details, you can see. So for the Market Bosworth to Hornsey bus route, we've got 6 vehicles. And they've got 25 of 48 potential passengers. That's pretty good, honestly. For the start of the game, for a bus route, that's not bad. Our food route is starting to deliver food, so they'll start to make money. You can see this construction materials line, now that they're starting to get paid going back and forth, is really starting to make some money, which is great. That's really what we want to see. The grain line. Let's go check out the grain line. So it looks like they're starting to come in now for their first shipments of grain. And we'll see if we click on a vehicle. So thus far, let's use a different vehicle. So this vehicle, thus far we've paid almost $7,000 in upkeep for the vehicle. So you got to think it's going to be almost $13,000 for the round trip. So let's see how much he's going to make. Okay, so you saw it right there. $16,000 is what a vehicle made. See? Right there. 16. So that means that we will profit from this whole round trip about $4,000 or $3,000. That's pretty good. That's not bad. I'm gonna go in here. I'm just gonna turn it off. I don't love to see the costs. So if you go into this top left menu right here and you go down to the bottom, you can turn on and off icons. I don't love to see the costs just because when you get charged every certain pay period, they all pop up on the screen and it's just like this like blast of, you know, charge. It's just like, okay, I get it. I'm losing money. The income is not bad because I like to be able to see, I like to do what we essentially just did, which is kind of come into a vehicle. If I can get this vehicle. Come into a vehicle, see how much we're losing on said vehicle, and then be able to see the total dollar amount that vehicle's making. So you can see our food processing, we're not getting enough grain to it. See, it's got 0 stored. And we've got a huge surplus of grain up here. Huge. This actually means that we are losing cargo items. So we're producing more than we can ship. Later in the game, I would get much more particular with, you know, with making sure that we're moving everything that we can. Early in the game, I'm not overly concerned just because these vehicles are quite slow and they don't hold a tremendous amount of goods. Like, what is this? Carries five goods. So, you know, it's not the end of the world if they can't move everything. That being said, as we start to pay this loan down, paying down the loan is kind of my first priority when we start a game. You know, I like to get a couple lines up and running, and then I like to pay that loan down. The funny thing about it is I will end up taking that loan back out almost immediately to build a rail line, because especially early in the game, trucks is not where you make the killer money. Rail is where you make the killer money. So I'm gonna try and find an oil line. An oil line is where you make money. So we've got 3 crude oil facilities here. We've got an oil processing facility here on the other side of the water. And then we've got an oil processing facility to turn it into fuel. And then we've got a town that demands fuel. It's not ideal because one rail line cannot connect these because this is on the other side. So we could maybe dig out some land and build a port. It's pretty expensive. Anything that has to do with land, moving land is incredibly expensive. So we could put a port in and we could ship it over, ship the oil back, so we're getting paid both ways on the boat, and then train it down here, and then just truck this in to Heathfield. Not bad. It's pretty ambitious to try and do early on because you will pay for all of that unless, like, just said let's pay down a little bit more of that loan. You will have to pay for all of that with loaned money. Unless you want to sit here for 2 hours just letting these little truck lines, you know, earn you money. But I don't know if I really want to. That's pretty aggressive early on. I'm trying to see if there's another set of fuel anywhere that would work. This is not a bad one. So we've got fuel processing here, we've got some oil here, and we've got a refinery here that could move the crude, turn the crude into oil, and then we could train that oil down here. And then we could honestly train it back and deliver some oil here and here. That would be terrible. I also like to think longer term, like where are my rail lines going to be, my passenger lines? So like, you would think like, okay, if I wanted to move crude to here and then this oil down to here, I would just build a rail line that goes boom, boom, done. I like to build my rail corridors so that I can put passengers, you know, I can lay additional track alongside them and connect up some passenger lines. This wouldn't be bad. If I brought a train line from here and then looped it up here, I could very easily branch that same train line off and hit Northam and then carry on to Stourbridge, which also demands fuel, which is very interesting. I don't think I can get 3 cities worth of fuel out of one refinery. I mean, early in the game you definitely can, but later in the game you probably cannot. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and do that? So, what we're going to do, I'm thinking we're going to truck the, yeah, sorry, yeah, we're going to truck the crude from here down to here to get this producing some crude. And then we're going to train down to here, and we're going to truck the fuel into Chatham. I might even have that same train pick up some fuel and bring it back here and then truck some into Northam. I'm kind of liking that idea. So if we come in here, we're going to need a truck stop. And this is going to have two stations, and you'll see why. You're probably thinking like you only need one because the trucks are only going to be bringing crude in. See, we've already hit our limit. I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to borrow a lot of money. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to hook this up. And now we're going to go up here. We're going to build another one. This is just going to have one platform. We'll do a one-way going in, coming out. And let's go ahead and hook this up. So, let's set up this first line. Sometimes I'll build everything out and then set up the lines later. I find it's easier, honestly, to just go ahead and set up the lines as you go. So again, we're gonna load full. Don't leave before you're fully loaded. And this is going to be, is there another? So Bradley to Northam. So it's going to be a truck. Bradley to Northam. Crude. And that's going to truck the crude down to this refinery. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put a road like that. And this is really not necessary. It's really not. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to build a 240 meter platform. Right like that. And you can see when you click on a depot, a rail station, truck stop, anything, whatever highlights is going to show up in white. Or whatever highlights, sorry, is within the catchment area of that facility. So anything that this facility produces can be picked up either at this truck stop or at this rail station. Anything that this rail station drops off can be picked up by the truck stop, which is why we put 2 platforms in here. Because we're going to have this train bring back fuel and drop it onto this platform, and then we're going to truck it into Northam because they have a demand for fuel. So if we build that now, so you can see where the fuel demand is. And again, not necessary, just so that it can do a loop. I'm going to go ahead and put this road in. So trucks are gonna come into town, they're gonna loop around, and I'm gonna have them drop right here. So now if we add another line, new line, from the second platform down to here, it's not doing the way I wanted it, so we're gonna add that. There we go. This is going to be a nice orange color for fuel, and we will have them wait and get a full load before they leave. And this is going to be trucks. Northam fuel. Nice. And now, where do I would add it on this edge of town, but I'll probably add it up here at this. It being the depot. Right in line with that intersection. That's nice. Okay. So now we need to figure out this rail line. The rail line's going to curve nice and easy right into here. So, come up. So that's for our platform. Now, this will completely function without this being connected to the main road. I like to connect it just because I think it looks a little bit nicer. Again, not completely unnecessary, but it's what I think it looks cleaner. So we'll get a 240 meter platform. Only one platform to start. And now we're going to have a train line running right here. So we'll go into tracks. We'll grab here. And then I like to start and just drag and see what it's going to do. So you can see it's going to tunnel 1.8 million. Where's it going to tunnel? It's going to tunnel here. Come out right here. I mean, the thing about rail. So if I was building a road, right? If I was building a road that was this distance, I would never do that tunnel because it's too expensive and it's just not worth it for a road. But for rail, speed, especially early in the game when you've got weaker engines, speed is so huge. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend that, just because if I came up this hill and then back down this hill, that speed loss going back and forth would be enormous. So I think it's better to just go with it. Now, another thing that some people might disagree with is I'm going to double track this right off the bat. The thing about it, so that was 1.8 million, right? So if we come over here, that's almost the full length, right? You know, 85%, maybe 90. That's almost the full length. And this is only 900,000 because we've already done the landscaping and the tunneling when we built the first track. So it's far, far cheaper to do the secondary track than it is to do that first track. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build that. I'm going to bring it in here. And then I'm going to merge these lines in. Trying to keep that speed on the merge as high as I can. And then we'll come back down here. And we'll merge it back in. So we got 64 on the last one and 58 miles per hour on this one. Not bad. So we're going to go one-way signaling. We're going to go auto signal, yes. We're going to do a 400 meter signal. I generally find that that works. And we're going to put one right after this break. Because, here, I'll show you. So if we go ahead and we put the line in, right? Northam up to Chatham for fuel. Or for, what is this going to be? Oil. So this is going to be rail. Northam to Chatham, oil. And let's make this a dark gray. Here we're going to want it to load. I don't want it to wait forever because this might take a while for these trucks to get enough stuff down here. So let's say that they'll wait for we'll have them wait for 90 seconds. And then up here, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to take a full load. They're going to wait for 90 seconds. And let's see how that's going to run. Because they're going to run oil up here and then fuel back. But back to the signaling. So if we look at what this line wants to do, you can see the arrows going in both directions. Because there's no signaling on these tracks, it's treating all the tracks as two-way. So it's going to send a train up this outside track, coming in to this train station, and then it's going to send that train back on the same track. So what that means is that if we get two trains on this track, the train that's trying to leave Northam is going to get blocked by the train that's trying to leave Chatham because they're on the same track. So if we come in here with the signals, and we've got one-way yes, auto signal, so it's going to place them every 400 meters. And if we put the signal here, you can see it puts signals down this whole thing. If we go back into the line, now it's got them using both lines because we have made this outside track one way, going away from Chatham, heading back to Northam. So now if we come back down here, we'll see that this signal is a pretty good distance from that merge. I'm okay with that distance. So what we're now going to do is we're going to take a one-way signal and we're going to add it going the other way as well. Because if there was no signal here, so the way the signal works is the train is going to approach this signal. And if there is a train somewhere in between this next signal and here, it's going to stop and wait here until the train that's in between clears the next signal. If we hadn't put the signals in, because you probably think like, okay, you put them on one side, so that's good. It split the line. We're done. If there were no signals, the next place that it would look for a train is all the way at this station. So a train would sit here waiting until a train cleared this station to come back because there's no signaling. But now, a train can come from Northam all the way up until this last signal, even if there's a train in this train station, and it will wait right here for this train to leave. Now, ideally, we'll spread the trains apart so that they will never have that conflict. But I'm just explaining why the signaling is important. So now we'll go ahead. We're going to build a train depot. Now, I generally like to put these kind of with the station. I just think it looks nice. Totally unnecessary. You could stick it off in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter. But now I like to bring a track next to it, merge it in, and then merge it onto the line. So now what this is going to do is it's going to allow trains to merge. Now what I like to do is you need to put a signal just before and just after the merge. And you can see that I had auto signal on. I should have turned it off just to be safe, but essentially the reason that it didn't auto signal all the way down the line is because it's looking for 400 meter spacing, and it ran into this signal before it got to the 400 meter spacing, so it just shut itself off. So, you know. And then right here, you don't really need a signal right here. You can put one if you want, but you don't really need it. So first, let's get some trucks. We'll do 6 onto the crude oil line. We'll do 3 onto the onto the fuel line. And now we need a train. And you can see we've only got 3 million left of all that money that we spent. All right, that we borrowed. So the G3. Okay, so trains. Steam, electric, diesel. We've got no electric or diesel. So steam, right? What is the best steam train to start with? You're probably thinking, okay, down at the bottom, the A3. It's the most modern, came out in 1900. You know, the G3 only came out in 1875. We could go with this D13, came out in 1850, 25 mile an hour top speed. The A3, if you look at these running costs, 600,000. Cost 3 million. So we can't even afford the A3 without borrowing more money. The G3, on the other hand, 121. So almost a sixth of the running cost. And look at that price, 728,000. That is money. Now you can look at other trains. So the G3 has a top speed of 31 and a tractive effort of 50. The PLM, which is another great early train, top speed of 37, tractive effort of 75. So it's got a bit more top speed, but a lot more tractive effort. So what is tractive effort? Tractive effort is essentially the amount of power the train has to get a heavy load moving to top speed. So, you know, let's see. Yeah, this is a good example. So the D13 and this BR89 have the same top speed, 25. But the D13 has a tractive effort of 20, while the BR89 has a tractive effort of 40. So the BR89 is going to be able to get the same load to that top speed twice as fast. Does that make sense? Twice as fast. So I'm thinking that we'll probably go with the G3. It's nice and cheap. I might go with the PLM 220. You know what? I've never actually used the PLM 220, so I'm gonna go with that. And cargo. Tank cars. What do we want to go with? 145 versus 420. 24,000 per year running costs versus 70. Let's see how much we can get. Yeah, so we can only get 4 here. I'm honestly thinking that this is probably too expensive, but I'm gonna make it work. Let's see. Okay, so here's the rub. So if we go back to the steam, so this has a top speed of 37. That means that we can, but we shouldn't use the 1850 tank car because it's only got a top speed of 31. So the top speed, you can see right here, top speed of this whole train is 37. The minute that I add one of these tank cars, it limits it to 31. So that extra speed of the PLM is a moot point at that point. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to see how much is it going to cost to get 8 of these. 5 million. So I'm going to borrow up to 5 million. And then I'm going to go ahead and build that train. 8 of these. I could break the game. I could lose right here. Overspending, but now we'll unpause because we've got vehicles on all the points. And you can see this guy's going to race down to the other end, not pick up anything, and then come back. Now, I could have placed this facing the other direction so that he would first come here. You know, probably a better decision, but it'll work itself out. So let's go back up and see how our other lines are doing. We go into our line manager. What is losing us money? So we know that these top 3, the train, the crude, and the fuel, are all going to lose us money for a while because they haven't established them. Wathurst Food, though, that one's been rocking for a little bit, and it's still losing us money. So why is that the case? Why is that the case? It might just be that we caught it at a time when it's not delivering any food. It's all on its way back. And you can see that might be the case. But I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to throw maybe 2 more vehicles at it just so that it can get a bit more regularity and see how that goes. So, you might be thinking, what now? Where do we go from here? Honestly, we've reached a point now where the game is just to wait for this to start making us money. This train is going to start making us a lot of money. Honestly, thinking back though, it's honestly a good thing that we sent it down here first because we needed this to start producing crude, which we couldn't do immediately. So these trucks will start dropping off oil and they'll start making oil, and you can see it's starting to pile up. It's starting to pile up on the platform. How much we got? 6 whole. So I'm probably going to add more vehicles onto this line. It'll require borrowing a little bit of money to start, or just now, but once these vehicles kind of get back here, I'm going to go ahead and buy a few more. So I'm going to take out a little bit of the loan, pause the game. I'm going to go to the crude line. I'm going to double it. I'm going to pay that off. So now, look at that. We're now 14 million. 14 million in the negative, which is fine. And you can see this train is now bringing 14 units of oil back down the way. Our trucks are picking up crude. We're looking pretty good. Let's see. So you can see that food line still losing us money. Interesting. Honestly, you know what it probably is? So you get paid for distance moved. However far it takes to move the goods. But it's straight line distance. So these goods are moving from this facility to this city. But they're driving all this way to do so. So we might honestly just be taking too long. We might just be incurring too much loss. for what we're getting. So, we really need some more oil to roll in here. And we'll get it. We'll get there. And you can see that this is making it pretty decent. Yeah, it's basically doubling the running cost to go back and forth. Train's coming back. See, it's just hemorrhaging when we go in here. $469,000 loss. But it is bringing back some fuel. So it's going to get paid both ways. Remember, this will get going. You can see we've got vehicles moving pretty regularly now. These will spread out as they go. But watch. So now he's going to drop off the fuel. It's going to show up right here. These guys are going to take it. They'll wait. This is waiting for a full load. And these guys are going to deliver it downtown. So, I think we've reached a pretty good point to end this first video in the series. We've got food running up here at Wadhurst. We've got construction materials and passengers running here at Market Bosworth and Hornsey. And then we've got fuel running here at Chatham and Northam and Bradley Stoke. Train just took off. Let's see how much we get. And then we'll probably call it a day. Look at this wonderful tunnel. It built a double tunnel. Oh, that's so frustrating. It did it here too. I can fix that. I just need to borrow money to do it. If that's worth it, I'm gonna do it. We just go in here and reconnect that. Look at how much better it looks. And then we'll go down here and do the exact same thing. Signals are still in place, and we're good. All right. At this point, I'm probably going to call it a day. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to come back around for the next video. And like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day.